There's a question I keep coming back to again and again. When you step back and look at what is happening across the world, is this really chaos? Or is it a pattern? Because the more I look at it, the less it feels like a series of isolated events. It feels like the same kinds of failures happening again and again, just with greater force, greater scale, and greater speed. And that's what makes this so deeply worrying. We are not just dealing with one crisis here and another crisis there. We're dealing with recurring breakdowns that keep producing the same kinds of hardship, conflict, instability, economic stress, institutional failure, public anger, loss of trust, and leaders who seem less and less capable of dealing with the scale of what is unfolding. That does not feel random to me. It feels like a pattern of failure that has been with us for a very long time. History is full of societies that believed their instability was temporary, that the current disorder would pass, that things would eventually settle down on their own. But history also shows us that when the deeper failures are not understood, not exposed, and not resolved, the same damage keeps returning. Only the labels change. Only the technology changes, only the scale changes. And in our own modern age, technology and big money have amplified everything. That's one of the reasons our current situation feels so dangerous. The power now involved in shaping the world is vastly greater than it was ever before. Technology moves faster, financial power is more concentrated, global interdependence is more complex, and the consequences of failure travel further and faster than ever before. So when the same kinds of failures keep happening under these conditions, the hardship becomes more severe, far quicker, the disruption becomes more widespread, and the future becomes harder to trust. That is why I do not believe we are living through a strange run of bad luck, and do not believe this is simply how the world works. I believe there is a pattern here, a pattern of recurring failure that's never been properly understood. It's never been properly understood at the level that matters most. Because once you see that the same kinds of breakdown keep resurfacing across different periods and different societies at the hands of the governing bodies of different political parties in power, international and state institutions, and public and private corporations, you're forced to ask a much harder question. What is it that keeps producing the pattern? What sits underneath the repeated crises, the repeated losses, and the repeated instability? Because if the pattern is real, and I believe it is, then we are not dealing with a few disconnected problems here. We are dealing with something much deeper about power, how decisions are made, and how societies are governed. And that is where this conversation has to go next. Because once you see that this is a pattern, the obvious question becomes, what exactly is governance? And why is it failing so badly?